Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and to a video about how the rules of association football became finally fully unified back in 1877. So you might say, why are we in a supermarket car park for a video about early football rules? Also, I thought the rules of football were written in England, so why have you brought us up to Scotland? Well, the reason why we are once again wandering around the historically football heritage-rich south side of Glasgow is because this is where we need to come to find out about a very early Scottish football club, a club formed in 1872, founder members of the Scottish FA, finalists in the very first Scottish Cup final, and the club that is responsible for eventually unifying the rules of modern association football. That club, Clydesdale FC. So before we explain how Clydesdale had a significant impact on the history of the game, let's find out a bit about them and their history. Born out of the Clydesdale Cricket Club, Clydesdale FC started life here at Kinning Park in 1872. The location has now been obliterated by the M77 and M8 motorways, but Kinning Park itself is a very historic ground. Able to host crowds of well over 15,000, the 1881 Scottish Cup final and replay were both played here. My club, Sheffield Wednesday, once played here in front of over 7,000 people. And when Clydesdale vacated the ground in 1876, a very young Rangers FC took the ground on until they moved on themselves to nearby Ibrox in 1887. In late 1876, Clydesdale Football Club moved to join the cricket club at Titwood. Titwood is just a couple of miles south of Kinning Park. It's while at Titwood that the club members got the inspiration to try and bring the two dominant sets of association football rules together, the London-based FA rules and the still widely played Sheffield FA rules. Modern association football finds its roots firmly buried in two early codes, the 1863 FA Code and the earlier 1858 Sheffield Code. Sheffield football dominated the first period of the game. Despite being written in 1863, very few clubs adopted the FA laws. Only 10 clubs were affiliated to the FA in 1867, and only 3 played by their laws that year. In comparison, Sheffield had nearly 200 clubs playing its football in just the town itself pre-1875, and many more elsewhere. The success of the FA Cup during the 1870s, played under FA laws, increased the number of clubs playing FA rules greatly. Also, both codes over time had adopted each other's laws, meaning that by 1877 there was a need for unification, and it would need only one rule change accepted by both codes to achieve that unity. It was Clydesdale who had the inspiration to step up and suggest that one needed rule change, a change to be accepted by both the FA and Sheffield. In early 1877, Clydesdale suggested to both the FA and the Sheffield FA to adopt a new way of throwing the ball in from touch. Sheffield at the time kicked the ball in any direction. In comparison, the FA threw the ball in one-handed at a 90-degree angle to the line, much like rugby today. Clydesdale suggested both codes accepted a rule change where you could throw the ball back into play in any direction. Eventually, by April 1877, both FAs agreed on this change, which allowed both codes to effectively amalgamate. Some suggest Sheffield adopted the FA rules, but this isn't what happened since both codes required to accept alterations for the marriage to actually take place. Soon after Clydesdale's inspirational matchmaking, the now revised FA Code became adopted by the rest of Britain in 1883 and internationally from 1886. 1877 witnessed football become fully unified, and it took a Scottish club's magic to get everybody over the final hurdle. Most of the rules we play by today are a fusion of the two dominant early codes of association football that originated in London from 1863, but from Sheffield as early as 1858. Of both codes, this makes the Sheffield rules the oldest rules of modern association football. It's important we remember that we still play by multiple Sheffield rule, tactical and match innovations to this day. Here are a few you may have come across. Try taking any of these out of the game and you won't have modern association football. Till next time!